Greetings, I am John O'Toole, and I welcome you back to the part 2 of growing your microgreens without medium or dirt. And so it's just in the beginning here, I'm just doing a quickie shot of part 1 in case you've missed it or you haven't had a chance to view it. It should be on CTSP someplace, and or you could watch it on my YouTube channel. So essentially what we're doing is we're using a plastic or such type of a canvas, similar to what you'd use for needlepoint or the sheets that they use in a food dehydrator. And we use those as a reusable platform to grow seeds on. It gives them the belief that they're actually going into soil, and if you properly water the trays, you'll actually get to the point of microgreen harvest. You can't use it to grow anything taller, but then again, why would you wish to? If you're going to grow heads of lettuce or other things like that, cucumbers or tomato plants, then you would be growing them in a hydroponic or aquaponic situation, which is a bit different than microgreens. But this is a nice way to get some green in your life, or you can do it as a business, like at a farmer's market or selling to a local grocery store or restaurant. So this is just giving you a quickie of the previous video. So part 2, we're really talking about the actual growing of it and how different it is between doing it with cococuir. Now you can go back to my previous videos on YouTube or growing microgreens on CTSB public station and find videos of growing in cococuir, which is my primary growing media. Seed starter, organic seed starter, is another good organic matter. Anything that's really non-soil, non-dirt works very well. So this is where we are now on part 2. This is it. They've let them sit for a few days. This is my method that I use. Some people don't do it, some people do, is stack your trays after you do your initial planting. And that will push down on the seeds into the medium. In this case, it's the mesh. And try to give it a simulation that it's growing. It's time to wake up and start to germinate. The radishes actually popped up fairly quickly, as you can see in the videos. So each day I would come in and I'd spray the seeds down with some just fresh water, and then I would cover them back up for the next day. There. We don't want to leave any scragglers. Get them all up onto those sheets. So as you can see, this particularly for the radishes was to just place the sheets into a clamshell and offer that directly to the customer, where they could actually water it every couple of days and then take what they wish. Of course, you wouldn't be able to reuse the sheet. You know, the best part about this method of growing is that you can just remove the roots from the sheet, clean it up, and then reuse it over again. With the radishes, they'd be a one-shot deal, unless you keep them for yourself. So as you can see, the radishes here are doing so much better. Well, actually, it's not so much better. The radishes quickly grow regardless of the way you grow them. The important thing is keeping them moist. So as you can see there, the sunflowers are all germinating. I think this sheet here doesn't have the canvas, because in this particular run I only had enough canvas for one tray, and I was trying it with a tray and having no canvas, just to see what the difference would be. So here you can see that I put the cover on inverted to give space for the radishes to grow. Oh, look at that. They're doing really well. Yep. These are nice pump sprayers. They're about $12 or so from Amazon. You could probably find it at another hydroponic store or such. I'm not sure about locally. It's kind of a professional grade product. Now, generally speaking, as they're stacked like this, you'll notice that the trays are pushing up out of the other trays below. So the spacing between the white and the black trays will actually expand, and that's telling you that they're germinating. They're trying to reach for the sky, even though it's still dark. So the growth doesn't actually look too bad. It's starting to look pretty good. There you go. That's a pretty good watering. You can see the root system is doing it quite nicely with the radishes. But this is only as good as there's enough water in the tray for them to feed on. If there isn't enough water, it's not going to help them to have a good root system. There isn't a very noticeable root system for below the sunflowers. Another day of watering. Now, some people have actually automated this process. Set it up on a float tank and allow it to flood the bottom of the trays enough for them to get water, and then they would drain back so they wouldn't sit in water. And that's an option too. You can set this up any way you wish. The more complicated you make it, the more chance to have failure. And you can always have a pump fail and not water your plants, just like you could, forget to do it or not have enough time that day to water them yourself. You can almost see that the radishes are losing their moxie in their growth. They've kind of like used up their energy that they had in the seed pod, and now that they're kind of relying on other stimulants to keep them green. Now, if I had planted these in coconut cure, they would be, quite lively and broad and green. A luscious green leaf with a purple stem. But in this setup, they're not doing so well. So I think another option would be to put some unbleached paper towels between the tray, the black tray, and the plastic canvas. And that might give it a place to retain some water. It's not going to do much for nutrition. So if it's exhausted its nutrition, you're going to have to supplement it with something like the ocean solution or some other hydroponic master blend, or whatever you feel like is going to work for you. So here it is up on the shelves. I wanted to get it away from the cat run off the countertop. So these are on the shelves. And the tray in the farthest distance, that's the radishes. And you can see how they're not doing so well. And I'm to blame for that. I didn't water as often as I should. I've seen me water every day. Well, it's almost every day. But my health has distracted me to some degree. So I might look in there, and I think that the sunflowers are doing fine. I'm going to assume that the radishes are too, and they're not. They're seriously running out of fuel to grow. And in reality, the sunflowers don't look that great. I mean, they should be tall and lush, you know, and vibrant, and they're not either. So I think because there's no cococuir in there to give them that last bit of boost, that it could draw something out of them. It's kind of like on its own. So the first tray is the tray without the canvas. This middle tray is the one with the canvas. And it actually has a nice root system. You know, they're okay, but it's just not great. Third tray, of course, is the radishes, and they're kind of done. So this was 10 ounces of seed, sunflowers, and sunflower seeds from Johnny's is about $10 a pound. That's an organic MicroGreens seed, food grade. And they're treated differently than the ones that go out into the field. And of course they're treated differently than the ones that you could buy for bird seed in the hardware store. A 50-pound bag, you could probably get a 50-pound bag for $25. So that'd be what, 50 cents a pound. You might even get a better deal than that and go to a dollar store. So, but the organic seed, of course, is organic, and then if it's a food grade, it's got to be stored in food grade quality. It's probably going to be stored indoors, someplace where it can stay dry and free of humidity and mold. And for all that, it's going to cost you a little more. Johnny's is somewhat of a premium seed company. They sell a product all over the United States, including Canada. There are other seed companies that sell things for less. So actually, it's not so much $10 a pound for the sunflowers. Shipping is $10 for their standard shipping, but I'll get it in 2 days generally. So just because they're in Maine and I'm in Massachusetts, you know, without having to pay extra for premium shipping, I'll get my seeds in 2 days. Now there are seed companies that are in Las Vegas and well, trying to think, Handy Pantry, I think they're in Utah. And then there are other seed companies around. Many of them offer free shipping, but the free shipping may take a week, it may take 2 weeks. So you just have to weigh, you know, how it is that you want your seed. It's always your choice. So here we are, we're doing a harvest. The initial harvest was, well, I had let them go unwatered for a day, and they looked kind of peaked. So I gave them a good drink of water, and I let them sit for a little while. And they've had a chance to perk up a bit. And now we're doing a harvest. Now I would have liked to have about 6 ounces. I would have been happy with a 6-ounce harvest. But unfortunately, I ended up with 2 ounces of sunflowers. Now one of the things that I did, well, I've been dealing with some health issues, and that's my only excuse. and I'd kind of let things slide. And I would look to see if they're happy, and they looked happy from a distance. But what happens with sunflowers is that you want to harvest when you have your first set of leaves popped out. That means the black hull has ejected itself off of the seed stem, the leaves. Sometimes you can pop off the seed pods, the hulls, off the leaves, and you'll be okay. And other times, they'll take part of the leaf with it, or they'll be kind of ugly looking as far as the leaves are concerned. So you'd like nature to kind of do most of your work for you. You can also run your hands across, kind of basically shake the stems to pop off the greens, the hulls. You know, I can see me do that every so often. So you really don't want the second set of leaves to come out on sunflowers. All the flavor is in the first set. The second set doesn't have much flavor. But unfortunately, I had let these go. So one of the things I'm doing here is I'm going through all of them and either cutting or plucking out the second set of leaves. So it's kind of like pinching off tomato suckers. Except these are a whole lot smaller. In other basic circumstances, you probably would just toss the whole thing into the compost pile at this point. But I wanted to have something to give to my neighbors. So I just kept spending the time and going through them individually. Now that might have been, I might have just tried a tasting. And yeah, they were pretty good. So this is another tedious job, is doing the harvest, but it's really kind of necessary. The two times you're going to spend the most time with growing microgreens is going to be the planting, and it's going to be the harvest. When you're harvesting, 100 trays, you're probably going to come up with ways of harvesting just a little easier than doing it with a pair of scissors. You can do it. You can use a sharp knife, a cooking knife, and they also have some mechanical harvesters that will also work. It just depends on how delicate everything is. So here it is. I'm taking a 4-inch clear clam shell, and I put it on the scale, and then I tar it out, zero out the box weight, and then fill it up. And I got a whopping 2 ounces. One box, 2 ounces. So I didn't actually charge the customer for it. Gave it to him for free and left it at that. And the next test is going to be using the actual dehydrator screen I bought off of Amazon for $15, and you get 3 screens. And that's going to be in part 3. It's going to be showing you the different method and see how that harvest goes. Now, it's very easy to clean the root system off of these screens. You basically just scoop them off. You could use, a trowel or a putty knife, probably a putty knife, like a drywall type putty knife, would work awesome. I didn't have one handy, so I just used my icing spatula to clean off what I didn't get off my hand. But it was very easy. The roots are very delicate, and they come off of the screen very easily. So that part there is pretty simple. Then you just throw it into your compost pile. So I hope you're enjoying this show, and I hope to see you again in part 3. If you have any comments, send them on to the station or a comment here on YouTube. Ta-ta for now.